Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Today, we are speaking with Sharon Permack. Sharon specializes in women's health and breast cancer recovery, and she's the author of Millions of Knots, Discovering My Light Through Cancer. Welcome to the show, Sharon. We're really excited to have you here. All kinds of things I want to ask you about.
Great, I'm excited to get started. Okay.
Tell us your story.
Okay, well, back in 2004, I started having lung issues. And by 2006, I had seen many respirologists in and out of doctors' offices. My breathing was just awful. I was on inhalers and medications. And I was waiting for a lung biopsy because they were really not sure what was going on and they didn't know ultimately how to treat it. And while I was waiting in August of 2006 for my surgery in September of 2006, I woke up and I found blood in my bra and I looked at it and I went, oh my God, this is not good. I just knew. And it was actually the long weekend. So I had to wait all weekend to see my doctor. She got me in very quickly to see the breast clinic, and it turned out to be breast cancer. So I was dealing with two very serious conditions at the same time. I got, after my surgery in September for the lung condition, I found out I had a condition called pulmonary fibrosis, which is a progressive lung disease that scars your lungs. And I knew I was in really big trouble. I was going through a divorce on top of it. My kids were 12 and 18. And stress does not begin to describe what I was going through, but something within me, and I really feel it was connected to my spirit. It was like, we're going to do whatever I have to do in order to recover from all of this. So it's been quite a journey, but the journey has been really taking an integrative functional medicine approach, functional health approach, living holistically. And step by step, it's really turned my health around. So now I share that with others and how to, really, how do you deal with a health issue? How do you deal with a health crisis and to not feel alone in it?
Wow, that's a powerful story. And there are so many people that have things that are happening to them and they feel like, God, I'm the only one.
Right. It's that feeling alone and the feeling disempowered. And I often talk about the work that I do using energy healing and technology to what is your next best step? And how do we walk towards your health, but also along the way, feeling empowered? Because feeling sick everybody has a cold and we all go to that place. Oh my God, I feel so awful. I'm never going to feel disempowerment, right? And that's okay to sit in it when you don't feel good. But when you're dealing with a chronic illness, when you can find those little moments of feeling empowered, maybe it's a good doctor's appointment that I help prepare you for. So you got answers to your questions. Maybe it's even just knowing your next best step that's going to help you towards feeling better.
No, that's really important. And how do you feel that the whole divorce thing was playing into what was happening to you? Do you think it was related?
It was huge. So I wrote a book about my breast cancer experience and the pulmonary fibrosis, as you mentioned, the millions of knots. And in there, I actually write a chapter about going through a divorce. Many women who are diagnosed can be dealing with a divorce, and there's always an emotional component to any health issue. What I really want to point out is we never know what causes, because I went down the shame, blame, and guilt route. Oh my God, if I dealt with my divorce better, then maybe I wouldn't have had breast cancer. That is not a mathematical equation that one can make, right? It happened. There's definitely an emotional component that was a huge factor in it. I just know when people had said to me, oh, you got cancer because of the way you're handling your divorce. And I'm like,
Oh, that's real helpful.
shame, blame, and guilt. I think people were well intentioned. That's the thing I learned. Like, they were well intentioned. They thought, oh, maybe if she looks at this. But really, when you're feeling that sick and you're in the middle of cancer, the most supportive thing is, how can I help you from outside? But inside, it's okay, what can I do now going forward to make the changes that I need to make? How can I better care for myself, love myself, which is a huge topic unto itself. But, I think it was the stressors that I had in my life, that was divorce and other stressors, and it all contributes. Can we actually take a spotlight and point our finger and go, that caused that? It doesn't help. And there's so many reasons. Like I say, every woman that has breast cancer, their story is unique to them. Right. And it's really important. I didn't expect to go down this route, but blaming yourself, shaming yourself, guilting yourself, listening to perhaps, well-intentioned people. It is one of the concepts that I talk to women about in breast cancer is finding that mental strength to get through it, because there's so many things that are thrown at you, such as, why did it happen? And it's like, well, what if we go, it happened, I'm here now. What changes can I make, and where can I feel empowered, and what do I need to do to get through this and get better?
And get better is an option. I've known lots of people over the years who've gotten breast cancer, and yes, I've known women who have died from it, but I've
Yes.
also known women who've gone on to live really successful, well balanced lives afterwards.
Yeah, sometimes
It's
it's often like that breast cancer experiences. Many women I've seen, they're like, oh my God, I've been wanting to do this, and they shift into these incredible lives, and I do want to address women who might be struggling, and, they do have a more difficult prognosis. And, the way I address this is, when I had cancer, and I shut out a lot of people. I was just like, head down, get through it. And I talk about it in my book because it is so important to make sure that you open your heart no matter what you're going through. And if you do have a more difficult prognosis, where can you find those moments of light where, even as you may be declining, that you have a moment with a loved one, or you just go outside and sit in nature. We can still live our life as we move towards whatever is meant for us, going through this diagnosis and this disease that affects so many people.
right, because it's not just you. If you have a family, everybody's involved in it, and it's a journey that your whole family takes with you. It's not like
Mhm.
you're by yourself. Even if your kids are, older and
Oh,
gone, sometimes I think that's worse, because they feel like they want to be with you and help you, but they have their own lives. They may have kids, eh, jobs, things like that.
I call it the juggle. So where in that juggle are your needs being met? What is it even that you desire and want and need? Because different women, I sit back and I go, like, what's important to you? Let's just talk about what's important to you as you go through this. And I cannot tell you the plethora of different things that women tell me, right? Because you really have to tap into what is important, and then Okay, so how do we make that work for you and your family? Mostly for you,
And
because as you become really clear, it helps actually everybody around you generally. That's been my experience.
I was just going to say, knowing what you want and what you need and what you feel would support you best. If you can articulate it to yourself, then you can articulate it to others. When somebody comes and says, "Hey, can I help you?" It's easy to say, "Yes, please do X, Y, or Z for me."
Hmm.
Or, this is how can I support you? Well, I would feel most supported if you would do this, or if you would approach me this way, or if you would say these things to me. It makes it easier for people to actually be around you and to support you in a way that really does support you rather than the helpful things that people say when they don't know what to say that aren't really helpful.
Yeah, I mentioned in my book, if don't say to somebody, call me if you need something, because
Right.
I know me and many women that I talk to, it's like, I'm going to do this by myself. And like, we don't want to lose our independence and anything. It's, would it be helpful if I came by this afternoon and we had coffee outside? Give them the option, but also, don't wait for somebody because you're already not feeling good. You're already feeling overwhelmed. So I also encourage people who are family members and friends of women with breast cancer to read my book, because I give that kind of insight where you can step back and sort of have a new look at, like, what is the woman going through? And then how can you translate into what you're feeling comfortable with in supporting that person?
And sometimes just, going and sitting with somebody. You don't have to talk.
Like I said,
Just
bring a
present.
coffee. Yeah, just be present. Yeah, because it can be extremely isolating and lonely going through any kind of cancer. It can be very isolating.
Even if you're just sitting with them while they're sleeping. I-
Hmm.
Sometimes just knowing someone else is in the room, someone else, another energy source is there and they care.
Powerful. Yes, I agree. Yes. Hmm.
So you talk about quantum living. Let's discuss that a little bit. What is that to you?
What that is, such a big topic, but I like to zero in on the word energy, because energy healing came into my life just before I was diagnosed through Reiki. And I had a profound experience where the so much stress lifted off of me in that Reiki course. And I felt so connected to my intuition and to myself. And it was really powerful. Honestly, like I just went, oh my God, this is who I am. I had like this huge awakening. It doesn't always have to be like that. But, I was going to therapist after therapist when I was in my marriage, and I would leave more wound up and crying my eyes out driving home. And it just like wasn't working for me. And as soon as I started with Reiki and body talk, one of the modalities that I'm certified in, dealing with the energy of our bodies and tapping into the resource of that was just so profound. So quantum living is really understanding, opening our minds to the possibility, like Albert Einstein, everything is energy. Well, we're in a world now where more and more people are understanding that energy, vibration, frequency. So when I go for an energy healing, whether it's Reiki, body talk, many other modalities that are available out there, what we do is we tap into the priority of the person. And body talk is all about reestablishing communication within the body. And that's all done energetically. And the body is talking to us all the time. How is it doing that? Through vibration, energy that's around us. And as I stepped into this world of energy healing, that also helped turn my life around, because it's a holistic approach. Yes, the emotional issues definitely needed to be dealt with, but there was also opportunity. Reiki can send energy to a part of your body that it needs most, just healing energetic energy. So we have the physical, the emotional, the mental, and then my favorite, the spiritual aspect of things. I began to lead a spiritual life after my Reiki. And I don't know what, especially during the pandemic, I don't know what I would have done without it, because it helps you to tune into yourself, to your needs, to a greater, whatever your belief is. Some people say God, spirit. I use spirit. I just feel more connected to that word, because that energy, that knowing, that inner knowing, that connectedness to everyone else. And then how do you walk through the world as an empath? So many people are empathic now, picking up so much energy. And the energy healing helps us to manage our own energy and get really connected to ourselves, to release energy blocks, stress, and traumas that help our body to then get into an alignment and into a feeling of homeostasis, so the body can do what it does best, which is heal itself. That's a big answer. Not sure where you're going to land with that, but I can only speak from my own experience of going through these energy sessions, energy healing sessions, that I would leave feeling lighter and more balanced and able to manage and to make decisions. So when I work with somebody in a body talk session, let's go back to what we were talking about. A woman tells me what she needs to get through breast cancer. I then use the energy healing to tap into how can I support her energetically to be able to speak to her family about what she needs, or to take that next best step, because we've released a lot of the stress, old belief systems, and blocks around it. Plus just having somebody who can just support you and you don't feel alone in it. So it's a very all-encompassing opportunity for us to heal.
This kind of leads into something that I was reading through on your Facebook profile, and you were talking about meditation and how impactful it is to our immune system, our blood work, all of the bits and pieces. And sometimes meditation is misunderstood, I think, in terms of just what it is. But in practicing meditation, rather than just like, I can't think of anything.
Yeah,
Which never works.
it's no, it doesn't work. My approach is meditation is a time to take out from busy, 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 busy. Our lives are busy, phones, laptops, computers, tablets, you name it. Things are bombarding us, information is bombarding us, families, the whole thing. And if we go back to, you have a health issue, blah, right? It just becomes overwhelming. Meditation is a time where you just take time out and go and sit quietly. You can lie down on your couch and put on music. It's the turning off of all the bombardment, and just taking the time, and I call it the ride inside. Because if we don't take that time out and just go, and allow things like music alone can, like, it's vibration, right? And it's calming down your nervous system. If we just say meditation is good for helping you take 5 minutes of time out where your nervous system is just having a break. And then from there, when you start to calm down, yeah, all our systems get back online in a much healthier way. I mean, the more you do it on a regular basis, I will be honest, I do not meditate every day. I do not, but I do take time out, and I do turn off my laptop, and I do just put my hand on my heart. And I talk a lot about that in any of the profiles you go to, Instagram, Facebook, because the energy of your hand on your heart is automatically telling your system, I am here now with you, and I care about you, your body, me, myself, and I'm just taking a few minutes out here. I used to do it in the car. I used to do it in the car when I was waiting to pick up my kids from school, because I would be more centered. So when they came out, I was present for my children. Yeah.
Yeah. That's important too, as being present. It's kind of, I think of putting my hands over my heart as like recharging it. We charge our
Mm,
cell phones because your hands have they're like the space where the energy like leaves your body, and you're
hmm
just kind of putting it back in there.
hmm
I've I've done qigong a couple of times, not regularly, but
hmm
my experience with that energy, manipulation of energy around you is like it's until you experience it, it's really hard to describe to someone else who hasn't done any energy work how powerful the energy around us is all the time. We just are so used to ignoring the the it's just energy. It exists around us. It's not empty space just
It's
because
not. It's not.
you can't see anything there. It's there's stuff going through it all the time, and you can tap into it and pull it into your body, and it helps you. It recharges you.
Right. It's a resource that's untapped. So one of the modalities I use, well, it's not really a modality, it's the technology of the AO scan. We talked about it briefly before we got
Mhm.
on.
Yeah.
And they have scientifically tapped into universal energy and have created, and they have a library of frequencies now that they can label, like this frequency is love, this frequency is inner peace, this frequency is I don't know, peace, tranquility. And with the AO scan, you can use these frequencies to broadcast it to yourself so you can experience inner peace and inner calm, because we're energy, and when we get fed the right frequencies, it really just helps calm us down. So I actually want to bring this in because you mentioned meditation, and the AO scan has a part of it that's called inner voice, where you speak into the technology on your phone for 15 seconds, and it analyzes the frequency of your voice using 10,000 frequencies and 12 octaves. It's all very scientifically based, and it picks up the emotions in your voice. Because, right, we know when somebody's happy, ha 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 ha, right, that's an emotion and a vibration. Or when someone's angry, we can feel that coming off of somebody, right?
Hmm.
So it picks it up, and it analyzes the 4 top emotions that are out of balance and generates a harmonic balancing recording that you listen to. And it you talking to this inner voice, it generates it, and you don't have to start thinking about, oh, I got to meditate and I have to stop thinking. All you got to do is lie quietly, or even just sit in a chair and listen, and it just helps to balance you emotionally. So there's so many options out there of ways to tap into that meditative quiet space that our bodies crave.
Yeah, and I know that there are frequencies that will actually heal you if you have different things going on in your body. There's I forget what I know there's TENS units, but there's another kind of technology out there that you can you dial up frequencies, and it helps heal your body.
Yeah,
And
that's what the AO does as well. It has frequencies specific for different conditions. And right, because it helps to lower the stress level so your body can do what it needs to do, but it also sends you frequencies so your body recognizes healthier frequencies. Like, they have a lot of proprietary compilations of frequencies that
Mhm.
help. Like, one of them on the AO is lungs breathing. So my breathing's off, lungs breathing, hypoxia, which is low oxygen, and it reminds the body what to do, and it's helping my lungs to just, it's very supportive, because if you work at the energetic level, then it begins to manifest on the physical. So that's how the energy healing works with frequencies.
And we're like tuning forks. If you have
Yeah.
two tuning forks sitting next to each other and you hit one, the other one, you don't do anything to it, it'll be vibrating at the same frequency, which is a really important concept when you're dealing with people. Be careful of who you hang around with because you will vibrate at that frequency.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I just in the presentation, and we talked about Dr. Emoto, who took water and put word labels on the water, froze it. So he did love, peace, but he also did war, I will kill you, like really negative. And he took the water and he could, under the microscopes, took pictures of the crystalline structures. So the ones with love, peace, all these positive ones had beautiful crystalline structures. The ones with the more negative words, the water looked like mud under the telescope. And we are mostly water, right? So yes, we're picking up words from people, but also ourselves. What are we saying to ourselves? But also other people's, like everything's affecting our energy, but I don't want people to feel like, oh my God, I don't know what to do about this. It's just walk and address your stress, really look after yourself. And like, if you find that you have not been looking after yourself, just go, hey, you know what? I'm taking 10 minutes. I would periodically tell my kids, I'm taking 10. And they knew I'm there if they need me, but oh my God, I need 10 minutes. And that just changes the biology and the frequency so quickly.
Yeah, I just the being still for a little while. Sit
Mm-hmm.
outside in your backyard or stand outside if you're working. I'm just like they used to have smoke breaks. Take a
Right.
smoke break.
Well, let's call it
Go
a
a
pause.
minimum.
Let's call it
Yeah,
a pause. But I'll tell people that, like, you know, like take a pause. Pause is a really powerful word, and it's a positive action that you can take for yourself. Nobody teaches us pause, you know, until you read the right thing or you listen to the right podcast. Just take a pause. Yeah.
yeah.
Where
And
does that take you?
spend some minutes breathing. You were talking about before we got started that you have an offer for people to get your book. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I'd love to. Thank you. Yes. I have a special offer on my website. Just go to sharonpermack.com/book and hit the order my book now. So my story is not just about I had cancer and had this and surgeries. It's more about how the obstacles that I hit and how I worked my way through them. I also share a lot of wisdom that I learned as I was going. At the end of every chapter, I just have a little snippet of advice around your health. And it talks a lot. The purpose of my book is to really introduce using a functional medicine integrative approach to your health. And that I really want people to start looking at all their options, really. So I tell my story of how I was so sick and how I developed my own integrative healthcare plan and how other people can do it. And it gives you insight into how women feel going through cancer. And if you've been through a divorce, there's a chapter on that, as I mentioned. So there's a lot in the book. And I also have a spiritual aspect where I talk about the divine feminine and how our femininity is affected, whether we have breast cancer or any illness, it can, and the importance of connecting to that. So there's a lot in the book. So I encourage you to order it. Go to my website, sharonpermack.com/book. And I have a coupon for you, Heart to Heart. That's heart, T-O, heart, not the number 2. And that will give you $10 off my book. And included also is a bookmark that I created. I'm also an abstract artist, and I'm including one of my art cards for you as a bonus. But I really encourage you to order the book, read my story, and everybody takes away a gem or two about their own health.
That's amazing. And I look forward to reading it actually myself. So, what's the one thing you want to leave the audience with today, Sharon?
To focus in on the importance of your health. And what that means is take one step, one small change, it was really late by the time I went, oh my God, like nobody talked to me about my health. And then it wasn't until I got really sick, I went, oh my God. And I started waking up. And I encourage people to take just small changes. Like I found out how sick I was, and I like emptied my kitchen of every like bad thing in it. I went crazy, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. It's one step at a time. But also take that pause, reach out for help, especially. Don't try to do it all on your own, especially if you're facing a serious illness, whatever that means to you, whether it's family, whether it's a practitioner. I like to call myself a little health angel in your back pocket for the clients that work with me. So there's lots of choices on what you can do. But if you have a little message going on that you need to make a small change, maybe it's give up fast food. It doesn't have to be forever, but make that small change and listen to the messages from your body that you are receiving, because better to catch it early. And if you do have a chronic illness or cancer, read my book. And I encourage you to take a integrative approach. And what I mean by that is have complementary treatments such as massage or whatever therapies will help you. Because going back and forth to treatments is one thing, and they're so important to follow through on your medical treatments. But what else is available to you to really support you in your health? And just ask the universe, teach me, show me. Oh, what's the famous, my favorite saying is, show me what I need to see. Tell me what I need to hear for my highest good and for all others. And that opens up the energy to have new things show up.
I love that. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story with us and having an impact on those that hear it.
Thank you for having me. I loved sharing all that with you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the You World Order, or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.